best way to end the laning phase fast is to go for lane swaps, because lane swaps normally result in turrets going down earlier than normal. The constant lane swapping as well forces the teams to group up and try to catch people as they're switching lanes. So in my mind, I think that's the best option for TPA, but we'll see how they decide to do this. Of course, they are the world champions, so whatever they decide to do, it should be better than what I have in mind.
They might have some strategy up their sleeves that we aren't able to comprehend right now. Azubu TPA here going in towards the enemy jungle via the Tri-Brush. But in response, AHQ is going to move into the enemy red buff as well through their own path. Stanley here going to throw down.
Some warding going down here from TPA as well as from AHQ. They've kind of mirrored themselves here. But Azubu TPA really going nuts with the wards. They're going to go plant 3 of them over in the side of AHQ's jungle. The invasion comes to an end here as AHQ comes back round towards their own jungle. Pride's here. I think he's a little bit afraid of face checking that brush. And in fact, they're going to let Westor just use his Lay Waste to make sure things are safe.
Yep, and safe is exactly what they are thinking of right now, but little do they know that there is a ward there, so TPA has full knowledge of their positioning right now. Westor here, together with Mr. Albus and Green Tea, just going to pick up the Wraiths. And BB, as you were saying about that, TPA does go for the lane swap to go for the early aggression. Let's see if AHQ responds to this quick enough.
Right, so a little bit different from what I expected. Once again, the lane swap has been bottom and top. They didn't go for mid as the lane swap. And let's see how this plays out. They're going to send Tristana and Thresh up to the top, so it's not going to be a AD carry versus a top laner. In fact, Renekton's all the way at the bottom already.
Yep. And
let's see whether they have a little bit of an advantage in terms of experience. I think BB and Dinter did get a bit of an XP advantage because they got to lane earlier.
And they did take the double golems as well, and that helped out a little bit. BB here going very, very aggressively onto Mr. Albus. And early game, Caitlyn definitely has the advantage because Tristana's passive hasn't really stacked up, so she wouldn't have that bonus range. But she should be able to farm pretty fine here. Firefighter shooting water out of the Hydrant. Toys here in the mid lane, trying his best to bully Karthus, but not. The Westor's positioning is just way too good for him to land any auto attacks at all. Green Tea here, just gonna guard Albus. And over at the bot lane, it seems like the lane swaps hasn't really impacted much as all players are fighting their respective lanes.
Right, so at this point, Stanley, in fact, is having a bit of a tough time dealing with Pride, who's just putting a very, very large amount of pressure on him. Has managed to push him all the way up to turret. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we saw Green Tea being a bit aggressive on BB. BB now trying to chase him down, getting a couple of hits in there. And it seems like overall the trade was pretty even. We are going to see Lantier come up towards the top lane. But Little Balls is there to stop any kind of counter gang. We see Green Tea coming in. He's going to put down that ward very early on. Nice death sentence there. Catches a hold of Dinter. Dinter, they're going to get taken out by Lantier, but Lantier gets dragged back into the action by the dredge line. Now they're going to try to chase down on Green Tea. Little Ball's not fast enough there to get back in on the action. He's got that red buff, but the dredge line cooldown is just a little bit too long. So HQ taking advantage of that fight and coming out ahead with the first blood.
Yep, and we did miss some of the action over at the bottom lane, but it seems that Renekton did lose to Stanley in a trade, so he will be forced to go back to base to pick up some extra items. Does pick up the Doran's Blade, giving him that extra damage to harass the Shen further out of lane. And the thing about Renekton is he is very strong once he hits level 3, so we'll see how Price tries his best to pressure Stanley out of lane. BB here going in aggressively as he does have the shield up.
So meanwhile, in the mid lane, we do see that Westor has managed to hold his own against Toys. In fact, he's a little bit ahead in farm. So things are looking pretty good for HQ right now. 500 gold in the lead, so the majority of that gold is coming from the first blood that they managed to get. Pride's here, also pulling ahead in CS.
Renekton is one of those beastly top lane champions which can easily clear minion waves, and that is exactly what Pride is doing. But Caitlyn, on the other hand, at the top lane is trying his best to pressure out Mr. Albis, so towards his turret, so he misses some of the CS, at the same time deal some damage as much as he can to his to the opponent's turret. Dinter here walking back and forth, BB as well. Pride's having the farm time of his life. Shen isn't around to stop him, but in terms of CS, Renekton is already 10 CS above Shen, so Shen is a little behind, but he does have some extra armor. The chainmail has been bought, so Renekton wouldn't be able to deal too much damage.
Right, and of course he's pushing up the lane as he did before this, and that is going to allow him to just deny some of that CS to Shen. Mr. Albis has yet to go back to base. He's managed to heal up all of his health, just relying on the Doran's Blade. It's a very, very steady source of lifesteal, just 5 damage. 5 health every time he attacks.
Yeah, but a lot of AD carries now like to run the 4% lifesteal consistency, so that might have been his runes. Not too sure. There is... Did you check it out?
Yep, he's got that 4% lifesteal. So Mr. Albis here is just slowly gathering back his health and doing very well because they are continuously pushing this lane. Death Sentence lands onto BB. BB taking a lot of poke damage. Mr. Albis is not going to get too greedy here. We do see Little Balls making his way back up towards the top lane. There is that pink ward. Lantier should have been able to spot him. Little Balls tries to go for Mr. Albis, manages to get his passive onto him. Flash from Mr. Albis. Now BB here is in a bit of trouble. He's getting pretty low. Lantier comes in from behind. The counter gank is going to be successful. In comes the Requiem. BB pops the barrier. It keeps him alive. And in the meantime, Westor is going to take advantage and farm the mid lane.
But actually, I was quite confused by Toy's movement because he went towards the top lane and suddenly decided to back off. But if he was around in the team fight, one Shock Blast might have been able to help the team secure the kill.
Right, I think he was going to go in there, and then there must have been a missed call as the team started to back off there. I think some of them wanted to disengage and some of them wanted to go in, and it ended up with neither happening really.
And now AHQ sitting on a very happy gold lead there of about 1,000 gold, just a little bit above that. Toys here going to return to the mid lane to farm up. Westdoor, on the other hand, is just going to continue spamming lay waves to pick up his farm. And, wow, I'm actually surprised that AHQ is doing well in both of these games.
Right, so Pride here is still having that CS advantage over Stanley, and Renekton really is quite the lane bully. Especially in that early game. So it's no big surprise here to see that he's quite far ahead.
Oops, there we go. A little bit of harassment going down to prevent Stanley from recalling back to base.
So they've swapped the lanes once again. They've sent BB over to the bottom lane to deal with Pride, and I think they've realized that Stanley hasn't been dealing too well with that pressure. Over at the top lane, we do see Mr. Albis and Green Tea just piling on that turret, dealing quite a fair bit of damage to it.
Oh, great play there.
Oh, they're trying to go for the kill onto Little Balls, but in comes the Shen ult, and they still manage to pick up the kill. Green Tea there, escaping with just a little bit of help. One more hit and he would have gone down. Really nice play. Pride's here with the aggression onto Dinter. He's trying to chase him down. Don't think that he's going to be able to catch up to a Janna, though.
I do just notice that Green Tea is actually running the Ignite, which is actually something that isn't very commonly seen on supports. Most of them run the Exhaust. But now that ADCs, almost every single ADCs runs barrier now, that extra Ignite did manage to help them secure the kill.
Right, I think that Ignite just goes to show that they wanted to go for that aggressive early game, which they did go for. So I think all was planned. Westar here in the mid lane is still doing very well. 15 CS ahead of Toys. Things are looking very bright for AHQ. Reminder in this match that it's supposedly AHQ with the stronger late game and the weaker early game. So the fact that they're picking up very early on is a good thing for them because things can only get better late game.
Lazar here. Oh, AHQ going for a very fast dragon attempt here. All 4 members are piling up on top of it, and the AHQ has responded. Ooh, death sentence almost hitting the Janna with a blind death sentence there. TPA Stanley over at the top lane, just going to push it up. Pride's trying his best to make it up to the top before it takes too much damage. You can see him already walking up there.
Right, I think he'll be fine. This turret's going to get down to about half health, but it'll still be standing even after what Stanley's going to go through. That was a very good trade, and they took some damage on the top turret, but they managed to pick up the dragon, so just a worthwhile trade there. Now there's been another lane swap here as Mr. Albus and Green Tea head down to this bottom lane to deal with BB and Dinter.
Yep, Green Tea here just gonna... And now Mr. Albus on his Tristana has reached the level where he can actually push waves very, very quickly. His explosive shots already deal quite a decent amount of damage. Okay, Pride's here going very, very aggressively onto Stanley, but Stanley does have a lot of armor going down. He does have the chain vest alongside that cloth armor, so that's about a 70 armor boost already.
Right, and there almost seems to be like no damage after the trade, so to see how tanky Stanley is right now.
Yeah, the shield on Shen was more than enough to negate the damage coming down from Renekton.
But he is still gonna do, still gonna get in a bit of trouble here as Pride hits behind the turret to farm, which is something. Oh my goodness, there's been a dive here at the bottom lane. Green Tea and Mr. Albus jumping onto Caitlyn. Green Tea here could be in trouble as Dinter tries to finish him off, but of course as a Janna support, he's not gonna be able to do too much. Looks like BB here is really in trouble against Mr. Albus, who's been dominating the lane since they first met up against each other at the top lane.
And now Mr. Albus is just going to freely push this turret as Janna tries desperately to defend it. Going to pick up that Dark Passage to go back to safety. You can see Little Balls already walking up and down. Lantier does have the Oracle. Going to patiently wait inside the bush.
Oh, I'm not sure if they realize, if TPA realizes that Lantier is just hanging around in this bush.
Yeah, that is exactly the strategy that Najin SWAT implemented during the OGN. They got their jungler to camp that bush while Renekton pushes past the enemy turret.
Right. And then the minute they come, send somebody to stop or try to catch him, then you have the counter jungle. Yep. Makes a lot of sense.
Best door here. He's going to push out the wave. They do have the Karthus out as well, so that should be able to help them out. The last hit does land. The three-man gang comes in from Azubu TPA Assassins. Prize here tries his best to get away. Does manage to slice and dice out to safety without burning any summon spells, actually. That's actually a very good trade for AHQ.
So in the meantime, at this bottom lane, BB and Dinter have tried their best to push out. BB is actually doing all right in farm. He's at 93 versus 89, so a slight lead there. But of course, we have that 1 kill, 3 assists on Mr. Albus. That can't be denied, so that's a lot of gold that he's going to be having ahead.
Yep. And Mr. Albus already has that Blade of the Ruined King, so that will help his damage out quite a bit. Pride's going back to the top lane as Shen recalls back to base, and you see a pressure coming down from HQ over at the bot lane. They're trying their best to down it. Lantier just going to clear that ward out with his Oracle Elixir. The Dark Passage has been thrown out to give the team some extra shield. That sentence barely missing BB. Getting out just in the nick of time.
That was just a very, very close call there. So we did see Lantier come down to the bottom lane. Put a little bit of pressure there. Now Pride's continues this domination of the top lane. He's going to take out that turret. Now that's going to take away a lot of map control for the TPA Assassins. Stanley hasn't been able to stop this rampaging crocodile.
But the rampaging crocodile can't really do too much damage to the Shen as well. But now he does have that Sunfire Escape. The 40 damage, magic damage per second should be able to shred through some of Shen's defenses as he has stacked only fully armor. Mr. Albus over at the bottom lane just going to hard push this turret. Green Tea is going to help him out with it. The death sentence goes down.
Beautiful
the play has been
sentence.
popped. BB here forced to burn the flash. The Karthus out has gone down. BB has been taken out, and now Green Tea gets out just in the nick of time. Lil Balls here going on for the chase. The Blade of the Ruined King has been popped. Lil Balls is getting very, very low. The slow comes down from Lil Balls, and he does manage to get it out in time as Jarvan comes in from the bot side. Will Lil Balls be able to get off this? I do not see any way he can do this. Catalysm comes down, and Green Tea now is just piling onto Dinter. Dinter will get shredded to pieces in just mere seconds.
Right, so we are going to see them grab this turret here in the bottom lane. Just 3 men coming all the way here. Very nice counter gang. Stanley, however, takes out Pride in the top lane in the meantime. I think he got into a little skirmish there with Toys. But HQ is coming out really far ahead of this one. They picked up the bottom turret. They're going to pick up this middle lane turret right now. And the Dragon will be up in about a minute. So they're going to be back in time for that. BB here could look to chase Green Tea, but that would be a very risky maneuver.
And now with that lead that they have taken at bottom lane. Green Tea and Mr. Albus has decided to go back to base to pick up on items, and I think the Tristana now is like super fat. She does pick up the BF sword and the boots as well. That will help out her damage quite a bit. She not too sure what she will evolve that BF sword into, but right now, where she stands, she has quite a high amount of DPS. Little Balls here just going to pick up the red buff, and after that gank, I'm very interested to see how TPA will try to turn this game around, because to be honest, they aren't really doing too well this game. The gold lead is around 6k in favor. The stun goes down onto Toys. Thundering Blow comes down to try and knock him away, but the pressure is just way too much. Toys here is taking very, very low. The flash goes down on Lantern. He tries his best to take down Toys, and he does succeed. Now Little Boss is on the run. Prize goes in. Will his Ruthless Predator come up in time? Nope, it does not. And now AHQ comes out with a 1-kill lead.
So Dragon is up, and they're down one member. Lantier and Price took almost no damage securing that kill. This is a big deal here as HQ gets yet another objective. This seems to be a repeat of what happened in the last game, and HQ is just working like clockwork here as they take out these objectives and maintain control of the map.
AHQ here being a monster of the team right now, controlling so much. Caitlyn, they're just gonna caliber net over the wall as he does spot out AHQ coming towards his direction. Mr. Albus gonna pressure out the bottom lane, and now AHQ has so much map control this game, they can contest for a Baron very, very soon. The goal gap, ooh, that death sentence just out of range for just that little bit. But now the goal gap is in exactly 8.3k. Not too sure how TPA can turn this around. 8.3k is a huge goal gap to be in, as all 5 members of AHQ is gonna try and pressure out the bottom lane.
We're gonna see Mr. Albus here actually start tanking the turret a bit. Not sure if he's the right person to be doing that, and in the meantime we have Lantier at the back just zoning people out. They do manage to pick up the 2nd tier turret. Very big deal, as once again they managed to just pull ahead in turrets. It's 4-0 right now, so almost no additional map control granted to the TPA assassins because they have not taken out any turrets. They've got that Shen over in the top lane. Might leave an opening here for AHQ to push down the middle.
Shen is going to join up with the team, going to move towards the area. You can see Javan going in for the
Oh
engage.
boy, they're going to go for the engage. Lantier goes in with a Cataclysm, locks everybody down. Now Westar is in the perfect position for his Defile just to keep dealing damage. Mr. Albus gets that jump combo. He landed the first jump, jumps in again, and he goes like, oh no, didn't want to go there. He's going to run away from Stanley, and they're going to go instead here for that middle lane turret.
Yep, jumping into 2 big bodies is not something an ADC would want to do. Good choice on Mr. Albus there to back off, but I think if he did stick around, he wouldn't be in too much of trouble.
Oh my goodness, yet another death sentence here from Green Tea as Stanley gets caught out, pulled into the middle of the enemy team there, and that is just going to mean a down inhibitor turret here. Green Tea did have to pay for that kill with his life, but you know, in the end it was all worth it.
Karthus just going to throw down a wall of pain for safety as all of AHQ now is going to recall back to base. They have a staggering close to 12k goal, around 11k right now. Going to recall back to base, pick up some items, and probably go for the Baron contest.
So we've got a lot of vision over in the bottom side here for HQ. I think they're going to be likely pushing up the mid once again. They've got a very nice lead. Tristana does have that 2,000 gold, hasn't gone back to shop, so she's going to probably head back to base, get her items, and then we'll see that push towards the middle lane.
Yep.
Don't think we're going to see a Baron contest because there isn't really much reason for HQ to do that. They're already very far in the lead. They can continue pushing down these turrets. They've got the range advantage of Tristana, so no reason for them to go for that Baron.
But Green Tea did pick up the Oracle Elixir, so that would further blind the jungle vision for the side of TPA. You can see him already walking around with that pink eye above his head. Price here gonna get out of harm's way very, very quickly. Wards have been planted down, 2 wards in fact. Green Tea here now just gonna move around towards the mid lane, as AHQ here looking very, very strong this game, coming out ahead in almost every single team fight.
There is just a lot of money sitting on Mr. Albus right now. He's got that Infinity Edge. In fact, oh, they're going to go for that Baron. They're just so happy. I mean, they're just so confident that there's nobody going to be coming here to stop them. They're just going to pick this up for free right now, as almost every single member of TPA is just way too far away to deal with this. Down the Baron goes. And right now, HQ could just power down that mid without facing much resistance at all.
If you have a lead, why not make it bigger? They're just going to pick up the Baron buff, and that extra health regeneration is just going to help AHQ so much more in downing the inhibitor, and probably another lane they had the potential to swing over, but most of their minion wave over at the bot and top side has been pushed out, so I highly doubt there will be a second lane push unless they push all the way, push the minion wave all the way towards TPA's base. Westor here going to pick up the blue buff, and that will help him just that much in the upcoming team fight. The health the mana regeneration and the cooldown reduction is gonna help Karthus just so much more. And see now AHQ here going very, very aggressively despite Karthus not being in the area. The flag has been thrown down. No follow-up going down though, just probably used it to check some vision. Mr. Albus here gonna just camp around the outskirts of the base and await the next engage.
I don't think he was using it for vision. He was just clearing up the minions. And
as
he's
well.
going to take out the inhibitor here. In comes the death sentence onto Stanley, not the person that they wanted to catch a hold of. Prize uses the slice and dice, and they're going to go in there. The Cataclysm gets used. In comes the ult from Dinter to just blow everyone away with the Monsoon. But it is not enough here as Pride just jumps in there alongside Lantier. They're going to pick up one kill for nothing there, along with the inhibitor. Swing over to the top. They're going to pick that up easily as well. They've got the Baron buff, so they're going to be regenerating health in no time.
Yep, Pride's here just going to move over to the top side, but TPA is responding to this. Shen has come around the area. Pride's here just going to step on the Yordle Snap Trap to kind of give the teams some room to move around in the upcoming team fight, as they are poised to take down this top turret. 4 members of AHQ is camping near the turret area as they allow Westor to push down the minion wave. Wow, there's a lot of pressure coming down. Stanley here just walking back and forth. There's nothing much they can do. The wall of pain goes down, but he just shadow dashes away to safety.
Oh my goodness,
Poke goes down
another.
and the engage. The flay comes out. No, the buff doesn't come out though. TPA is going to get shredded to pieces. BB here taken very, very low. The last auto attack from Mr. Albus does secure the kill, and now Stanley will be taken out. And Mr. Albus is just jumping around like a bunny rabbit. Little balls here forced to run away, and AHQ here looks to take the first Nexus turret here. Gonna take it down really, really quickly. Westor and Albus DPS is pretty high right now.
Another nice hook there from Green Tea as he flays Little Balls back into the fight. They're gonna go for this second Nexus turret. This is gonna be a quick game here for AHQ, as there's still 4 death timers for the Azubu type A assassins. Only one left alive here is Dinter, and as the support, he's not going to be able to do anything to stop this one. In comes that last, but mostly futile attempt to stop this push.